Japan is a country of beautiful contrast. With ancient heritage and modern traditions, Japan seamlessly intertwines old and new. Home to the largest megacity in the world, the most Michelin star restaurants of any country, beautiful wildlife, and some of the most serene shrines and temples, Japan truly has something for everyone. Come with us as we experience this amazing country and show you how to plan the perfect trip to Japan.
We began our trip to Japan by flying from San Diego International Airport to Tokyo. We had the privilege of flying business class on Japan Airlines, which was an absolute treat. After landing, we hopped on the train and headed straight to the Ikebukuro station, where we met an old friend for dinner. We went to Chiba Chan, which is known for its huge karaage chicken boat, and it did not disappoint. The chicken was delicious, and for roughly $10 we got enough chicken to last what felt like a week.
The sun rises very early in Japan, and so if possible, we would recommend leaning into your jet lag and going to sleep early the first night. This will let you explore some of the sites early in the morning without all of the crowds. For our first full day in Tokyo, we set out to explore the bustling and hip neighborhood of Harajuku. Known for its bold fashion and fun food, this was a great way for us to jump into the heart of Tokyo.
After a morning of shopping and exploring, we had built up an appetite and tried gyukatsu for lunch. This deep-fried beef cutlet was something neither Jason nor I had ever tried, and we loved it. The combination of tender beef and crispy outside left us excited for the rest of our meals on the trip. After lunch, we walked 20 minutes to the Meiji Shrine. Built in 1920, the Meiji Shrine stands as a symbol of Japan's modernization, honoring the influential reign of Emperor Meiji. It is a beautiful walk to the shrine, which is a peaceful escape from the hustle and bustle of the streets of Tokyo.
After the Meiji Shrine, we hopped on the metro and headed to Red Tokyo Tower for a taste of one of Tokyo's newest attractions. Located inside the Tokyo Tower, this is a super fun way to spend an afternoon, particularly on a hot or rainy day. Finished in 2022, Red Tokyo Tower is a digital amusement park with retro video games, cutting-edge virtual reality games, full-scale e-motor simulations, and a variety of other fun activities. Rachel and I had an absolute blast playing and competing against each other in various games. After Red Tokyo Tower, we headed to Shibuya for what might have been our favorite meal on the entire trip, Ginza Steak.
Ginza Steak is an all-you-can-eat A5 Wagyu restaurant, and it was absolutely incredible. A5 Wagyu is the highest quality rating for beef, and the feeling of it dissolving in your mouth is truly something to experience for yourself. After 3 small and delicious starter courses, we were served the Wagyu. The marbled steak literally melted in our mouth with a rich, buttery taste, and it was exquisite. Jason and I both agreed that this was the best meat we had ever eaten. While you don't have to get all you can eat, we would highly recommend trying out Japanese A5 Wagyu if you're ever in Japan.
Feeling stuffed to the brim, we decided to walk around Shibuya to burn off some of the calories. As a dog lover, our first stop was the famous Hachiko statue. Serving as a symbol of loyalty and devotion, it was super cool to see the statue for the story that we have heard all about. After seeing Hachiko, we walked across Shibuya Crossing to take part in the world's busiest crosswalk. The raw energy from the sheer number of people and surrounding lights was an unforgettable experience. After crossing, we headed to Shibuya Parko to see the Nintendo store and Pokemon Center. As huge Pokemon and Mario fans, this was super fun to see.
Finally, we headed to Shibuya's newest shopping mall, the Shibuya Scramble, to go to the Shibuya Sky Lookout. Unfortunately, it was already sold out when we got there, but it was still cool to see the mall. If you're wanting to check out Tokyo's newest viewpoint, make sure to reserve your spot in advance. After checking out Shibuya Sky, we headed back to our hotel, exhausted from our action-packed first day in Tokyo.
The next morning, we headed straight to Ginza to do some more shopping and check out the vibrant atmosphere of this upscale district. We started the morning with souffle pancakes at Happy Pancake. These fluffy circles of joy are a fun spin on regular pancakes, which offer a cloud-like experience with a soft inside that melts in your mouth. We got the hot chocolate with granola and cheese mousse with berry sauce pancakes, which were delightful. After Happy Pancake, we headed just down the street to the newly opened Tokyo Art Aquarium. This immersive art museum is a new take on an aquarium which blends meticulously designed fish tanks with vibrant colors and intricate patterns to bring the underwater world to life. We were blown away by some of the exhibits and had never seen anything like it before.
After the art aquarium, we headed to lunch at the world's cheapest Michelin star restaurant, Tim Ho Wan. While all the food was delicious, we particularly loved the baked barbecue pork buns. These famous pork buns have a slight crispy golden brown outside and are filled with rich and tender barbecue pork, which creates a perfectly balanced sweet and savory taste. After lunch, we did some shopping and stopped by the Uniqlo flagship store in Ginza. Spanning 10 different floors, it felt like we could find just about any type of clothing we wanted. We had a blast walking through all 10 floors and even stopped to get matching custom Jachel sweatshirts made.
So, guess what we got? Jachel sweatshirts. Matching ones. So we're gonna be twinners, because twinning is winning. After shopping till we just about dropped, we headed down the street to Ippudo for one of Japan's most famous ramen shops. Renowned for their rich and flavorful tonkatsu broth, we couldn't wait to try it. The ramen was incredibly satisfying and we enjoyed every bite of it.
As we left, we grabbed some ice cream from the convenience store and made our way back to the hotel for the night.
We woke up the next day sad that it was our last day in Tokyo, but excited for the awesome activities that we had planned. For our first stop, we headed to Koto City where we would dress up and ride go-karts through the streets of Tokyo. We were a little bit nervous at the start to be driving go-karts on the road, but it turned out to be an absolute blast. Driving by some of Tokyo's most popular landmarks with the wind running through our hair and the Japanese people smiling and waving at us was an absolute treat.
After go-karting, we headed to Team Lab Planets to experience what we think is one of the coolest digital art museums in the world. This ethereal museum takes you through a series of immersive and interactive exhibits which combine art, technology, and nature. While inside, we quite literally felt like we were on another planet. After Team Labs, we had a few hours before our train to Osaka, so we headed back to the Tokyo Skytree to try and take in some last-minute views of the spectacular metro before leaving Tokyo. As we looked out over the city we've been exploring the last 3 days, we reflected on our time and said farewell to the incredible city that is Tokyo.
3 days was barely enough to scratch the surface of Tokyo, but we left with gratitude in our hearts and anticipation for the rest of what this spectacular country has to offer. As you know, fitting everything you want to do in a limited time during a trip can be a major challenge. This was particularly the case for us in Tokyo. As such, we're always looking for travel tips and tools to help us plan and map out our vacations. We recently learned about Magic as a super useful tool for helping us plan our trips and thought it'd be useful to share.
One of our consistent challenges is trying to find a place to stay that is also close to our activities so we can optimize our time. Magic is an AI travel assistant that will not only be able to help us plan our itinerary, but also recommend to us the best places to stay based on our activities and budget. Instead of reading hundreds of hotel reviews, it compiles the pros and cons for us, and we can book directly through Magic with all the best deals. Not only this, Magic's AI travel assistant will create a custom itinerary based on the activities we want to do. This is a huge time saver. Magic is completely free, so definitely try it out when planning your next trip using the link in the description.
After the Skytree, we headed back to the station and took a 3-hour bullet train to Osaka. While you can almost always find sitting room on the open cars, we would recommend making a seat reservation just for the peace of mind. After a smooth ride through the Japanese countryside, we arrived in Osaka. Feeling tired from our action-packed day, we headed straight to our hotel to get some much-needed rest.
We used Osaka as a base for us to explore the greater Kansai region. Our first day, we were ready for a change of pace from the hustle and bustle of the city and decided to head to Nara so we could tune into Japan's ancient culture and history. Serving as the original capital of Japan, Nara is renowned for its well-preserved temples, shrines, and friendly deer. Located just a 45-minute train ride from Osaka, Nara is tucked away in the beautiful Japanese countryside and is one of my personal favorite places in all of Japan.
After arriving, we got some delicious Japanese pastries at the station and walked 20 minutes to Nara Park. Home to over 1,000 domesticated free-roaming deer, Nara Park is a truly unique and heartwarming experience. The deer are considered sacred and have been taught to bow for food. For less than $2, you can buy crackers to feed to the deer. By feeding the deer, you are taking part in an ancient tradition dating back centuries. It is a super special and heartwarming experience to connect with these animals. After making friends with many of the deer, we headed to Todaji. Housing one of the world's largest Buddhist statues, Todaji is a UNESCO World Heritage Site and a must-see place when visiting Nara. We were blown away by the sheer size of the temple and the level of detail that went into every part of it.
After Todaiji, we grabbed lunch and then headed to Wakakuseyama for a panoramic view of Nara and the surrounding region. The hike to the lower viewpoint takes around 20 minutes and is largely shaded. It provides a different perspective on Nara and is a great place to take a photo. After heading down from the hike, we started on our way back to the station. On the way back, we stopped at an arcade along the main street and played a few arcade games, which was super fun. We would definitely recommend stopping at an arcade during your trip to Japan to experience this playful yet competitive side of Japanese culture.
After the arcade, we headed back to Osaka for dinner. We chose to stay in Osaka rather than Kyoto while staying in the Kansai region because Osaka generally has better food options and we plan to eat most of our dinners in Osaka. That night, we were craving curry and went to CoCo Ichiban for some delicious Japanese curry. CoCo Ichi is one of the largest curry chains in Japan and is fast, affordable, and delicious. Our curry hit the spot and was the perfect way to top off our incredible day.
The next day, we headed to Universal Studios Japan to check out Super Nintendo World in the country where it all started. Jason and I are super big Mario fans, and ever since it opened in 2021, we have wanted to visit. Since Super Nintendo World is so popular, you have to enter a lottery-based ticket system when the park opens to get a pass to enter the Super Nintendo World zone.
Excited to check off another bucket list item, we headed to the park 45 minutes early to try and be some of the first to get an area time ticket. Outside of the pipe entrance to the Mushroom Kingdom, we purchased a power-up band, which would allow us to interactively interact with the elements throughout the park.
As we walked through the pipe to enter the world, our jaws literally dropped. The vibrant colors, iconic Mushroom Kingdom castle, and nostalgic sound effects made us feel like we were literally in another world. Everything felt so real, and the interactive elements throughout the park really added a ton to the experience. We had a blast hitting the blocks, playing the mini games, and collecting coins.
After exploring a bit, we headed to the rides. The main attraction is Mario Kart, which is a unique augmented reality ride where you compete and race against others in your car. The other ride is a Kids Yoshi ride, which is pretty slow, but provides a nice view of the Mushroom Kingdom. After the rides, we collected 3 keys through interactive minigames and defeated Bowser Jr. While the rides were fun, we thought the real highlight was the interactive elements and minigames throughout the park. Being able to hit a box to collect coins really added to the environment and made us actually feel like we were in a Mario video game. While there was so much more we could have done in the park, we had an absolute blast visiting Super Nintendo World.
After Nintendo World, we explored a few other parts of Universal Studios Japan and then left the park early to explore the famous Dotonbori Street in Osaka. Dotonbori is a vibrant district in the heart of Osaka with dazzling neon lights and some of the best street food in all of Japan. Located along the canal, it has a super fun vibe and is personally one of my favorite downtown districts in all of Japan. We couldn't help but feel the energy of all that surrounded us as we walked the streets. For dinner, we opted for an Osaka classic of Okonomiyaki. This savory Japanese pancake is a combination of flour, cabbage, and egg cooked on an iron griddle. It is then topped with a sweet sauce and drizzled in Japanese mayonnaise. While the combination might sound a bit weird, we thought it was delicious. After dinner, we walked the streets a bit more before heading back early to the hotel in anticipation for an early morning the next day.
With half of our trip complete, we were absolutely loving Japan and all of the amazing memories we were making. Little did we know that the second half of our trip would continue the trend and make up some of our all-time favorite travel experiences as we continued our journey southwest to some of the less traveled places of Japan. Hey everyone, thanks so much for watching. We hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, it would really help us out if you gave it a like and subscribed. We're super excited to show you part 2 of our trip to Japan. As always, we hope you have an amazing day.